one of the biggest quarterbacks in this draft, at least with the most hype around him, and that is Kyler Murray. He made the official announcement he is going to the draft. He's not planning on playing baseball, and to the dismay of Oakland A's fans, Kyler Murray is going to try and play quarterback, which is something that he hasn't really been focusing on. We'll talk about that a bit more. The question is Kyler Murray worth a first-round pick? Ian?
To me, I don't think so. I don't think he's the best quarterback in this draft class in terms of NFL play. I think he had a much better season than Dwayne Haskins. I think he was much deserving of the Heisman. But I think Dwayne Haskins in this draft class is the most NFL-ready quarterback. I don't think he's going to be ready to come in and play as well. And now I say as well as Darnold did, because given what Darnold was given to work with, he did pretty well this season in New York, in my opinion. Or Baker. He's not going to have one of those seasons. You know, if he gets on the right team, like the Browns, Baker got a really good deal with the Browns.
Which is a weird thing to say.
He got a really good deal. He came in and had talent all around him. Defensive and offensive youth talent, decent offensive line. But for Kyler, I think it's going to be more of a sit back and watch for maybe a year or two even before he's fully ready. Now, for me, I've always been kind of a guy, and I think of it when I play video games like Madden or NCAA. I've always been the guy that will redshirt first and let that player, and they're even on their overalls. My freshman's an 80 overall, my junior is an 80 overall. I'm still going to redshirt the freshman, play the junior, whatever. That's been me. A lot of people might say, oh, he's a freshman, he's just as good, play the freshman, it's cooler.
I mean, kind of.
And I feel like that's what a lot of people do.
Not wrong.
Not in video games even as much as, oh, well, we could be that team with the hot freshman this year. You know, our junior played pretty well last year, but
we're the team with, like, we want to be the team with the rookie quarterback.
Yeah, the rookie quarterback winning games. But anyways, I think Kyler is not worth a first round pick. He's going to be probably a decent quarterback in the NFL. He's very talented, and I might be wrong. You know, I don't think he's going to be some huge bust. I think he was correct in choosing the NFL because there's instances like Nick Gordon where what if he doesn't work out in the MLB? People are saying, well, MLB gives you more. Yeah, that's if you make it big. And I don't know enough about, how the farm systems work to really make
Coming out of college, he would have gotten to the big leagues theoretically faster, and he would have had guaranteed money. But again, it's a lot harder to get there, especially I don't think he planned on having as good of a season with Oklahoma football as he did.
Maybe if he didn't, he would probably be going to
I think if he didn't win the Heisman and there wasn't all this hype around him, like they didn't make the Final Four and they didn't, they weren't there. I think if they would have won 10 games and barely kind of squeaked into a decent bowl game, he probably would have went to the Major League Baseball. But I think because he had as good of a season as he did, I think he's feeling that, because if he gets drafted, I think his thing is he's going to get drafted and plan to be a starter. He's not going to go into the NFL planning to maybe be a starter, maybe be a backup. If he gets drafted, a team's going to want to start him. So I think that plays a lot into it too.
I think it completely depends on what team and the scenario. There's so much to be played out. What if a team like, I don't even know a good example, but a team drafts him and says, well, we've still got this guy. We're going to ride him, and then, like you said, most likely he's going to be planned to be drafted and be the starter for that team.
Yeah, and with Kyler Murray, I don't think he's worth a first-round pick. I think he will be a first-round pick. I didn't think Lamar Jackson was worth a first-round pick, but he ended up being one because demand outweighs some things. There's a demand for a quarterback. If you're a team that needs a quarterback, you want to go get it. You don't care. If you think he's your quarterback of the future, you don't care if you drafted him 15th or 3rd. You know what I mean? If that's your guy and you think that guy is going to be your quarterback for the next 15 years, you don't care what draft position he was at. You jump up 10 picks to go get him. And that's kind of what the Chiefs did with Mahomes. That's kind of, other teams have did. You don't care what you have to give up. You don't care how it's going to look. If you feel he's your quarterback, you go get him. And I don't think he's worth a first-round pick, but I think he will be a first-round pick. I don't think he'll go number 1 overall. I don't think he'll be drafted in the top 10 unless through all this pre-draft stuff he rises, which could very well happen. Quarterbacks usually do. But right now, before the combine, I'm thinking Kyler Murray's not worth a first-round pick. I think he'll be I think when it comes down to it, he'll be a low first round pick, and at the very worst, he's like the first or second player taken in the second round. But I just think the height thing. It's not a height problem, but you just kind of he's a guy, and this has been said. He's been preparing to play baseball the last however many years. He's just been playing quarterback on the side. Now he's going to work on quarterbacking full time. Not, I worked to be a quarterback, but I'm really going to start working on my, how to hit a curveball, or how to hit a 90-mile-per-hour slider. You know what I'm saying? He's been training how to hit baseballs, not to throw a ball into triple coverage down, 30 yards downfield. So I think that is something that's going to also go against Kyler Murray. And I think kind of how he handled did you see that weird interview on the Dan Patrick Show with him? Where he basically wouldn't answer any questions and kind of looked like he was peeking to his dad, like offset, kind of to see what he, like he didn't want to say anything, but because of how awkward it was, it kind of became a national story. And I think teams are definitely going to do their due diligence on Kyler Murray, but I don't think Kyler Murray's worth a first-round pick.